Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time for my 100% honest update review. Now you guys know that I do this after every update, and while I'm 100% honest about the things that I love, I'm also 100% honest about the things that I don't love. And you guys should know that I'm aimed to be like 100% honest on 99% of all my videos, except for when I like tell you I'm gonna eat bees, but I'm just lying because it's funny. But these update reviews are especially honest. Now in this update we got a new brawler, Mr. P, a new environment, a new hot zone mode, 6 new skins, the removal of 3 old game modes, trophy road changes, and quite a few other things as well. Now I actually have a lot to say about this update, but before we get into that, this video is sponsored by
Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Are you speaking of Raid Shadow Legends?
Forget everything you know about mobile gaming and get ready to raid. Okay, you probably by this point of your experience on YouTube have already heard about Raid Shadow Legends, but you guys know I am not going to do a sponsored video unless I really like the game, and I actually really do like Raid. I actually played a ton of turn-based RPGs when I was growing up, and Raid combines my favorite aspects of the classics for the ultimate RPG experience. There's an epic campaign where you can increase the levels of your champions. The game has 10 different bosses that you can earn artifacts that actually make your champions stronger, and some of them are like actually really hard, like the spider's dead. And let's not forget about PvP, where you can take your best champions and battle against other players. I've got to say though, the coolest part of this game is how many champions there are and how much actually goes into building the strongest team you can. Also, let's not forget about how insane the graphics are. Seriously, the detail, it's crazy. You can now play Raid for free on mobile and on PC and actually switch devices whenever you want. And if you're a new player, you can click on my link in the description and you'll earn 200,000 silver and this champion, Tree Feller, just for downloading the game. Once you download the game, all you'll need to do to get your rewards is click on the treasure chest in the upper right hand corner and your rewards will be right here. I definitely want to give a big thank you to Raid for sponsoring this video. Download Raid Shadow Legends today from the description below. Okay guys, let's go ahead and start with the biggest change in this update, the newest brawler, Mr. P. Now I've gotta say that I love Mr. P a ton. His artwork is so great, and I really think that they did a really bang up job with coming up with a character that has a lot of personality. I mean, who comes up with a bellhop penguin who throws suitcases at people? It is so random and so bizarre, and yet somehow it really works well. And I think he's gonna be a really great addition to the game. As for his gameplay mechanics, I actually think he's a lot stronger than I originally thought he was going to be. He might even be slightly on the too strong side of things. Just kind of depending on the mode and the map. Now his attack damage is pretty underwhelming as long as you only get hit by each attack once, but the fact that he can attack behind walls allows you to actually like kind of catch some people off guard, which is pretty great. And it also keeps enemy players moving, so they're more likely to come out from behind walls so you can actually hit them. But where he really comes in clutch is his super. Now I pushed him to 550 trophies on a Twitch live stream, and then I pushed him relatively easy in solo showdown. It was not that hard at all. After that I took him into hot zone for the push from 550 to 600 trophies, which is the gameplay that you're seeing right now, just with randoms. Now I would like to push him some more in modes and in different modes, and probably up to like 750 trophies before I really know how strong he is, but my impressions are that he's better than I thought he would be. Now I'm definitely going to be doing an updated tier list video in the future, so I'll give you some more complete thoughts on him then. For now, I'm going to say he's above average and maybe even a little bit too strong. We'll see. Now I know a lot of people were complaining about his rarity being mythic because Supercell released 2 mythic brawlers in a row. You guys also got to remember they released 2 trophy road brawlers in a row. Was it 3? It might have been 3. I don't remember. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. It was 2 or 3. They made the rarity based off of his mechanics, and he has so many different kinds of unique mechanics. I actually guessed he would be mythic before I actually knew he would be mythic. I feel like it's the perfect placement for him, especially because there's 5, epic brawlers. I would have said epic or mythic, maybe legendary, but anyways, you get the idea. Now let's talk about hot zone. There are a lot of things that I really like about this mode. I don't particularly like the single point maps very much because it can lead to a lot of unfair situations where, it's like really hard for you to regain control after death on your team. But that is kind of the same case on certain gem grab maps where it is possible to spawn trap the enemy. Now, with that said, the maps with 2 points or 2 zones are so much fun. I love that it forces you to see how you can handle 2v1 situations and how there's a lot of different strategies for the brawlers that you select. And although the strategies are kind of similar to like area control modes like gem grab or siege, there are a lot of different strategies that work really, really well. And the mode actually creates some reason for you to use some brawlers and star powers that previously just were like, okay, kind of like Pam, okay? She's so good for this mode if you play her right and you have the right star power. Well, I mean, honestly, both star powers work, but I actually really like Mama's Squeeze on this. That's for another video, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to talk about which brawlers are best for this specific game mode in a hot zone tier list sometime later this week. Now, I really do like this mode a lot, and although I did like Present Plunder, I definitely like hot zone a lot more. My only feedback regarding how they could improve with just one small thing, which one small thing is actually a really big deal for me. Like, you guys know how I give the feedback. But my one thing would be to maybe remove one of the single point maps and consider adding some 3-point maps instead. I would love to try this with 3 points. Now, currently Hot Zone is only a temporary mode, and Supercell is going to look at the play rates before deciding on making the mode permanent or not. And my understanding is that the stats that they pay most attention to is going to be how much the mode is played after players have gotten their star tokens and regular tokens. So like, what do you go and do because you want to have fun or to push a specific brawler? So if you guys want to send a message to Supercell that they should make this game mode permanent, make sure you play it more than you play the other modes. Now, with that said, I did want to talk about Supercell removing Present Plunder, Lone Star, and Takedown from the game. I know this is kind of a bittersweet thing for a lot of us. Many people loved at least one of those 3 modes, and some people hated all 3, but no matter who you are, I think we can all agree that it is unfortunate that we're missing out on a star token every single day because of the removal of the solo modes. Now, I'm going to come back to that later, but I wanted to talk about another issue, like a real issue regarding the current way Supercell is testing new modes. Currently, they're looking at the play rates for the modes and comparing them to the other modes that are currently permanent in the game. You might think that this is a good thing to do, but I think that there are actually some issues with the way they're doing it. First of all, making a new mode active every single day means that people are going to grow bored of the modes faster than the modes that are on a cycle, like Heist or Siege or Bounty. And so you can't really compare the play rates for the new modes to the cycling modes that we play once every 3 days. And I also don't feel like the play rates can actually be compared to the modes that are available every day, because Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, and Showdown have been through so many changes to make them the current favorites of the players. They've literally been through draft after draft after draft and are the best that they can be, or at least close to it. Additionally, people actually revert to what they're comfortable with, and they don't give the new modes as fair of a chance once the novelty wears off, because it takes much longer than a few weeks for the average player to find out what works and what does not work in a new mode. So players need more time than in a few weeks to like be forced to get the star token every day and try the new mode. And you know, you get what I'm saying. Now, if you look at Present Plunder as an example, the novelty wore off really quickly because it was out every single day, and it was only out for a few weeks, and Supercell didn't implement any of the changes the community made regarding like some feedback before they actually removed it from the game. Now, although Lone Star and Takedown were in the game a lot longer, I personally gave loads of feedback regarding how they could be improved, and you guys did too, and we didn't see anything tested publicly before they were removed from the game. In essence, I don't think that Supercell gave the modes their best efforts before deciding to scrap them. Now, this is an issue because it's going to be incredibly hard for any mode that Supercell releases to ever be made permanent unless Supercell does something different. And I have an excellent idea what they could do while also giving another daily star token, and I think that this would be a super fun thing that we would all really enjoy a lot. I think that Supercell could add a new event slot called the experimental slot. Players would get a free daily star token and could earn tokens from it as well, and possibly even push some trophies. It could contain 3v3 modes, it could contain 10-man modes, but the experimental slot would actually contain 3 or more events that everyone understands are experimental, and it would actually rotate between them. Now, having 3 or more events means that people wouldn't get bored of the new modes so quickly, and Supercell could compare play rates across experimental modes rather than against Brawl Ball and Showdown, which all have had had several revisions already to make them the favorite modes in the game. Okay, Supercell could make 1 to 2 small changes every update based off of what they want to do, and then also based off of our feedback. And it could be a small thing like, hey, we're going to try this because you guys suggested it, and oh, we didn't like it. Okay, we removed it. You know, they could fluctuate with the changes very frequently, so that it would be more likely that Supercell would actually find something that works, and they'd be more likely to find things that are going to make the mode more likely to be permanent. Also, I really think that Supercell should keep modes in the experimental slot for at least 3 or 4 months so that there's more opportunity to improve the modes before deciding which ones to cut. And you know, so players have more time to figure out which brawlers don't work and which ones do. I really think this would be a much better way to find new modes that work out for the game, and I'm curious to know what you guys think and if this is actually something that you would like. I know Supercell has said that they might actually make changes to Lone Star Takedown and also Present Plunder, but like, make the changes and let us adapt to it rather than like it wearing off and just like bringing it back I don't let me know. Now let's talk about the new skins in the game. As a reminder, guys, make sure you use code Kairos whenever you spend gems in the game so that you can support the creation of videos like this one and other Brawl Stars videos that I make. I know that I say this a lot, but it actually helps out a lot more than you guys might know. Like this microphone and part of this camera was actually paid for by the creator code. So like, that's a big deal. Let's start off by talking about Koala Nita. Out of all of the new skins, this is actually my least favorite, but don't get me wrong, okay? I love that Supercell is sending all the proceeds of Koala Nita toward helping the calamities happening in Australia, okay? They didn't need to do it. Nobody was asking for it, and they decided to do it, and I think that is so awesome. And the story behind the skin is really cool as well. If you are the kind of person that buys skins in the game, or you can afford to do it, this is a great way for you to go help spend some money toward a cause that you believe in, and while also getting a little bit of a reward, you know, show off your support in Australia. But if you are a free-to-play player, I recommend saving your gems for something else unless you really like the skin. Supercell doesn't make any money on free gems when you buy skins with free gems, so actually buying this skin won't mean that they will send more money towards charity. That's just not how it works out. Now, I love the charity. I bought Koala Nita not only because I am a completionist and I want all of the skins in the game and I can afford to because it's a business expense for me, but I don't actually like the skin very much. I'm curious to see what Supercell's actually going to do once the Australia issues have kind of like calmed down. Are they going to keep the firefighter outfit for Bruce? Are they going to make him more koala-like? I mean, I'm really not complaining. I just think that we got some of the coolest skins in the game this update, and Koala Nita is not just not one of them. And she's kind of expensive for 80 gems. So like maybe after the charity's all over with, maybe they cut it from 80 down to like 30 gems. I don't know. We'll see. Now let's talk about Agent P. Okay, 30 gems for Agent P. That's a great price. I'm excited for it once it's out. Cupid Piper, such a sweet skin. I mean, the dress is like, okay, it's cool. It's white and pink, which I like that. And her hair is kind of weird with like the whole floopy heart thing on it. Also it's like kind of cool, but her projectile is so cool, and I definitely cannot wait for it to be released. Now, as for the Lunar New Year skins, which were only going to be out temporarily, code Kairos. Oh man. Supercell has really outdone themselves, okay? Street Ninja Terra looks so cool. Definitely worth 80 gems. And it's an exclusive skin, so like that's even cooler. Heroin BB, also so cool. And I do think that her hair thing is like the braids or whatever. That's a little weird, but she's so cool. And I also think that it's definitely worth the 150 gems. Virus 8-Bit could be the coolest skin in the game, and I love the new voice lines. My favorite line is where he's like, I am not a bug, I am a feature. The way he crawls on spider legs, I mean, it's so cool. Now, I honestly do think that all of the 300 gem skins, I think that's too much to spend money for a skin for a game like this, unless you can justify spending that kind of money on a skin because like of your financial situation, it's not a big deal, you want to support the development of the game, or if it's a business expense like it is for me, that makes sense as well. But out of all of the 300 gem skins, Virus 8-Bit might be the most worth it in the 300 gems category. I don't know. It's so awesome. It's either that or Golden or Phoenix Crow. I really like Phoenix Crow. I really feel like Supercell is getting better and better at making really awesome skins. And with Supercell Make, we're going to start seeing some really cool community made skins, starting off with some bow skins, which I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's likely going to happen sometime soon. Okay, now let's talk about the trophy road changes. Obviously, I love these changes. They gave us more rewards and made it more rewarding to push in trophies. Now, I was honestly hoping that they would actually extend the trophy road, but based off of a tweet that Frank sent out like mid-December, roughly only 1% of the players have even reached the end of the trophy road. So I'm okay with them holding off until like more players have actually reached that point. And you know, as they release more brawlers, it's going to get easier for more players to do that and stuff. Now, but I also wanted to briefly talk about Supercell deciding to give players anywhere between 1 big box and up to 6 mega boxes, depending on how far you've actually progressed through the trophy road. Now, as you know, the original plan was 1 free mega box only if you completed the trophy road, and that was when Brawl Talk was released. You guys know that I did the math and I realized that we were missing out on a lot of rewards if we've already completed the trophy road. And Supercell's original response was that it ends up balancing out because the previous rewards that previous players got, a lot of extra rewards that future players missed out on. And I checked out the math and they were absolutely right, okay? Previous players had been given such a much bigger advantage than new players ever will because of the free handouts that we've already received because we've been playing the game for a long time. And what I find especially impressive is the fact that Supercell still listened to our feedback when they were right to not give us more. I love that because they weren't just like, oh, hey guys, we were wrong. No, they were right. It was just them saying, you know what? Well, let's do this. You guys gave us this feedback and we want to show you how much we appreciate you. And I love that because it shows that the Brawl Stars developer team does an amazing job at listening to our feedback. And I think it really proves how much they appreciate their long-term players. Seriously, huge props to Supercell for making this decision. I feel like that's just huge. It's huge. You just don't get that in other games, especially mobile games, which are typically considered to be money grabbers. You know what I mean? Brawl Stars, you guys are awesome. Now let's talk about the Asian arcade area that Brawl Stars added to the game. By far, this is my favorite theme in the game, and the attention to detail is just amazing. And the background music, if you haven't listened to it, it is phenomenal. It reminds me so much of the retro music from like Mega Man that I played so much as a kid. Specifically, Mega Man was like the game. Oh, I love that game. In fact, I recently got Mega Man 11 on the Switch, and I'm loving it. But seriously, this theme, so great. I love it. Great job, Supercell. Now let's talk about balance changes. I think the balance changes that we got were pretty great. Max is a ton of fun to play now. Feels really great. Really strong, actually. Max is a lot of fun if you guys haven't tried her yet. I think that Daryl's nerf was warranted. He's probably a little bit more balanced. Still probably really good, though. B's honeycoat nerf might still not be enough. But like I said, the balance changes that we got were great. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to wish that we would have just gotten a little bit more than 3 changes. Now, do not get me wrong. Brawl Stars feels incredibly balanced right now. There are, of course, a few brawlers that are obviously stronger than others, and a few brawlers who are obviously weaker, but I would say that the game is pretty balanced. And it's been like that for several months, and almost like too long. I want to see some changes. We're kind of seeing the same brawlers being used, and I'd like to see something new. Now, there's a couple ways you can look at this. You could see Supercell like buffing and nerfing brawlers to like flop things around and keep things new, which is kind of cool, and I actually really like that. But Brawl Stars' main goal actually is to just try and make all of the brawlers equally viable in some way. But I'm kind of starting to feel a little bit like the game is slightly a little bit stale, and I think that this is because I've been playing the game longer than most people. I've been in the top 1% for trophies basically ever since the game was released, and I'm starting to feel like it's just I just want some more changes. Now, don't get me wrong here, guys, okay? I am not bored with the game at all. I am loving it. But I am starting to experience what I have outlined in another video as a problem that I think Supercell will face later this year. And that is the fact that although there is a good reason for the game being simple in early game, I think that the game is lacking in depth at the end game, okay? There are going to be lots of free-to-play players by the end of this year, by the end of 2020, who will have maxed out accounts. People that have been grinding every single day and have not missed out on any rewards whatsoever. Most people haven't been in end game for as long as I have, so they're not experiencing this, but this is why I'm wishing that there were more balance changes. The long-term solution to fixing this issue is to add more complexity to the game. I would like to each brawler to have a new ability. I've already talked about this in previous videos, kind of like a level 11, a star power 2.0 that's an actual ability that you can activate in the game. But a short-term solution to fixing this issue is to mix up the meta to keep the game fresh. I'm curious to know what you guys think though, so let me know. Do you want the balance changes to go all out over the place, or do you like it to be relatively balanced all over the time? So overall, how was the update? New brawler is fantastic. New skins are amazing. I think they didn't put enough effort into making Present Plunder, Lone Star, and Takedown better before removing them. I think Supercell did a fantastic job at showing how much they appreciate their dedicated fans, and the new mode honestly already feels like it could be a permanent addition to the game. The new theme is simply beautiful, and for a somewhat small update, I think this was a 9 out of 10. Like, we got a big update in December. I'm not expecting a big update until the next update. This was a smaller update. 9 out of 10. That's really solid. But as always though, guys, I want to know what you think. Give me your feedback for this update. What are you wanting Supercell to do with in the future? And let me know what you agree with for this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe for future content. And for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.